Good morning. Whew, light's harsh. This morning light is harsh. So today is a special day that I really wanted to document because I think it'll be interesting to reflect on and also might help someone else. Today is Yoni massage day, and a Yoni massage is essentially a professional vagina massage. And a lot of people might be like, what? Yep. So the idea behind a Yoni massage is that in the pelvis we have a lot of muscles and a lot of nerves. In fact, in the cervix alone, we have three main large nerves that connect to it. Because of all the muscles and the nerves in the pelvis, it's a really good spot for storing tension and even trauma. So when we experience trauma, it gets stored in our body. Our body is kind of like the subconscious mind where it just stores different things. So different emotions that haven't been processed, including traumas and all of that kind of stuff. Me, I'm going into it purely from a therapy perspective. And I've been very picky who I wanted to do this with. I've been contacting her for over a year, and then she went overseas and now she's back in my area, and I'm just really excited to experience this Yoni massage with her. The main reason why I've been wanting to do this Yoni therapy for myself is in a previous video I talked about how I lost my ability to orgasm, and I've been through the work that I've been doing with Tantra, I've been gaining that ability back and getting to know my body, learning about self-pleasure. And this is just another step for me, I feel, to being able to reconnect back in with my yoni and reconnecting with my womb and just learn about it more and have more of a ability to experience orgasms and pleasure and just learn about myself. I just love these types of things where I get to learn and grow and connect deeper with myself. So that's why I'm doing it, and I'm really excited. Okay, I just arrived. I think I'm in the right place. I guess we shall see, and I'll see you on the other side of my Yoni mapping session. Man, that session was one of the most profound things I have ever experienced in my life. I'm gonna take a moment and integrate this experience because it's hard for me to describe it right now because I'm in a floaty state. I'll get back to you when I come down. But for now, I'm gonna cherish what I'm feeling right now. It's really hard for me to describe how I'm feeling right now. I'm so tired, but at the same time The world just seems different right now. So much more beautiful. And I look at women right now and I'm just like, wow, you got the universe between your legs, girl. You're a powerful being. Because what I experienced during that Yoni Mapping session was just out of this world. Out of this world. That was not what I was expecting. And it's gonna take a while for it to integrate, I think. I can say that what I experienced today is going to completely change me. Change the way that I view the world. Change the way I experience life. I'm so grateful for Mariam and what she does, and for Bonnie Bliss and what she does. Such powerful women. And it takes a lot to go into these areas and make it your career, make it your profession, and follow your calling. Because there's so much judgment around it still. But I'm so grateful for people like this who have followed their truth and continue to do so, and just help people heal in such a sacred way. I'm a bit spaced out. And I'm really enjoying this burrito. Everything just looks so much more vivid. This burrito tastes amazing. I'm sure my kombucha is going to taste amazing. I just love people more. Wow, this world is amazing. Wow. Amazing. Yum, yum, yum. Hi.
Hello. My name is Mariam, and I am many things. Amongst them, I do something called Yoni Mapping Therapy, and it's a modality, and a modality for women. It's created, the Yoni Mapping Therapy Bliss method is actually created by Bonnie Bliss, and yeah, it's really an exploration of the pelvic area, the yoni, the vulva. That's everything on the outside and everything on the inside, and it's like a beautiful journey for any woman to really get to know herself and understand all this part of her and the mysteries that lie inside this part of her, and how she can explore this part of her. And it's also all the stuff we didn't get to talk about, you know, at school, and all the stuff we don't get to talk about in our culture and society. Just, it's a full permission space and safe space to talk about it all, and work out challenges if we're having challenges, get some education if we're needing some really like solid, you know, information and education. And
what would you say to people who kind of think, you know, a lot of people first of all don't know what a yoni is, and so when I've been explaining it to people, I'm just like, it's a professional vagina massage, because obviously that's kind of the terminology that people might understand. But then in our society we start to go into, oh, okay, is it like, what is it exactly?
Yeah, is it sexual?
Yeah.
Like, what's the... Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess it is a professional vagina massage, you know? Like, we get our back massage, but, you know, we don't think of getting our vagina massage, because why would you get your vagina massaged? Like,
I mean, I can think of some obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously have so many reasons why, and seen so many benefits of like this work, and it's profound actually, you know. It's just like trying to sum up what you would get from this is impossible.
Yeah.
Because everybody gets something completely different and is entirely like unique to their journey.
Yeah.
But you're getting a massage, being massaged in that way, in such a devotional and loving and honoring way, and in a full permission space, you know, where you can feel all your feelings that come up for you, and any of the anxieties or fears that usually would come up for you in intimacy with another person. Having space for all that it's revolutionary in our lives. You know, it's really like so soul nourishing and so opening and expanding of our sexuality, and really is a healing balm for a lot of people who are feeling really stuck and quite alone inside of what they're going through with their sexuality, or feeling wanted, loved, acceptable in themselves, and loving and accepting of themselves. And you know, our sexuality is such a piece of us that often our society is tabooed and made wrong, and people lose touch with that sense of vibrancy and that radiance that comes from being connected to our sexuality and feeling nourished by all aspects of our being. You know, our sexuality is just another part of us, and you know, connecting with it just lights us up.
Yeah, you know, definitely.
Lights us up to our wisdom. And
yeah, I always say to people, it's so funny because you know, making babies seems like such a natural, or having babies seems like such a natural, innocent thing, but then how are babies made? Through sex.
Yeah.
It's just as innocent, but all the stories that we've created around it is what brings shame and guilt, and you know, all these things that make us disconnect from our sexuality and who we really are. But how did you get into it? Because you have a psychological background. You're a psychologist as well, aren't you?
So my background was working in a mental health organisation as a mental health professional, and studying psychology at the same time. And then I went away and I left the industry because I just felt like it, you know, I knew I could go further with people. I knew I could take people to deeper places, and I knew that healing was on the other side of all the bureaucracy, you know, that the bureaucracy and the red tape and all the fear mongering around, you know, being a human with another human.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, for them, it was just a boundary that couldn't be crossed, and I needed to meet in humanity, and I really needed to meet in that place of vulnerability, I feel, to really embrace my clients and have them feel like they're whole, you know. And I think that's what we do for each other as people, you know. We really remind each other of our wholeness by sharing and being in our wholeness and humanity together, and being in our pain and our suffering, and sharing our pain and suffering, because it reminds us that it's actually just part of being human, and we do it together.
Yeah.
We're not on our own in that. And so that was why I left the industry, and I found myself struggling with my own trauma and my own pain and my own sexuality. And I was with a beautiful man. We were engaged and we were about to be married, and just realized we weren't having sex anymore, and it was really painful to talk about and really alienating to talk about. I was so scared about talking about it. I just thought I was broken. I didn't want to make love anymore. I had no desire for him. I didn't feel attracted to him anymore. And I really, like, that was so hard to admit and say, you know, because I think in my mind and his mind at that time, it meant that we weren't in love anymore, which wasn't actually the case. We were deeply in love. It just, you know, over a long period of time, relationships just go through fluctuations, and sometimes things need to change for that desire and attraction to be reignited and for it to be maintained. And so, and I know that now, you know, I know now how to maintain and create and cultivate love, and it's like a garden, you know. You've got to keep maintaining and cultivating and pruning the buds of the flowers, and the, you know, cultivating the bees in the garden for it to grow. So for me, it was really like the breakdown of my relationship, this beautiful relationship in my life, and feeling entirely broken, that had me feel like, oh, I need to go exploring, I need to understand myself. And I ran into, you know, Tantra, and I ran into, you know, workshops, and I just enrolled myself in every single thing I could find that felt right to me. You know, I really followed my intuition and what felt safe for me. And then I found myself in Byron Bay, and my teacher Bonnie Bliss was here, and she was offering a beautiful, like, lush women's spa day, like, night, where like everybody was together and we're just all in this beautiful spa together, like naked, and talking about such like awesome things, like,
cool,
you know, yeah, like we were talking about breasts, and you know, how we feel about our breasts and the journey we've been on with our breasts, and just like, I was like, oh my god, I just want to like live in this world, like,
yeah.
where it's totally cool and normal to like be in our naturalness and our innocence, and just like fully be seen in who we are without being judged by other people, and you know, and it was beautiful. And that made me like feel really like curious about what she does, and I reached out to her months later, actually, because I never really asked her. And then months later I reached out to her, and I was already, you know, doing things in my trainings that were taking me into places of ritual and worship and honoring, you know, people inside of their divinity and also in their humanity, and just like holding space for people. So then I reached out to her to see if she had leads for me for some deeper training, because I wanted to learn more about holding space for women inside of their sexuality. And then she told me about the training she was doing, and it was just perfect. So we signed up and I did the training, and
Here you are.
Here I am, sitting on and loving it.
Yeah. And I loved it too. I had...
What was your experience like?
Well, it was mind-blowing. Definitely very mind-blowing. I feel like I'm still kind of thinking about it all, but also very transformative. Massively transformative. I had 3 significant things happen for me that really changed the way that I see the world, actually. One of them, I noticed when you were massaging, because the yoni massage isn't just about going straight into the yoni, right? As women, we need so much more to be able to open up, to be able to trust and feel safe. And so we spent quite a bit of time talking, and then there was a full body massage. It was so gentle, and I never realized how soft and gentle a woman's touch can be as well. It's not really something that we experience as women, you know, just that beautiful gentleness in our culture. So that was one thing that was just beautiful for me. But when you spend a lot of time on my stomach, and there was a lot of energy that was kind of coming up there, realizing that there was some kind of an energetic connection to my dad, and wanting to rescue him, wanting to help him. And I realized that all my life I was kind of very driven by that, by wanting to rescue people and giving so much of myself, and just kind of severing that connection in a very gentle, loving way has changed my life now, because I don't want to just rescue people. I'm interested in, sure, I'll help, but I don't want to be the rescuer, because I realize that rescuing people, first of all, takes their power away and can be quite manipulative. And I don't want to be that type of person by trying to control their journey for them. I want people to be able to experience their own journeys, and now I've put myself where I'm in a space of support. If someone needs support, then I'm happy to support, but I'm not going to try to control their journey, or I'm going to at least listen to that part of me that tries to. So that was a really big thing. And I actually ended a relationship that I was in last week because of the yoni massage and severing that connection, that energetic connection to my dad, because I realized that I was attracted to the person because I was attracted to the fact that I wanted to rescue them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a big thing to let go of.
Yeah.
How do you feel having let go of, how, you know, what has that opened up for you, letting go of that need to rescue that person particularly?
Oof. I feel like I'm still digesting it a little bit, because that part of me was such a huge part of me for such a long time. I don't really know how to see myself now. And even yesterday I was sitting at a little cafe, and a guy came up and sat down, and I could feel that he seemed like he really wanted something from me and craved like that help, and a part of me really wanted to jump in and save him, and then I just ended up walking away, and it was such a good thing for me to do, not to be roped into another relationship like that. So yeah, that's been a huge shift for me.
That sounds really empowering.
Yeah, it's been very, very empowering. The next one was the pleaser. So when you were internally massaging me, there was one spot in particular where that kind of dark energy started happening, and I was just kind of, I don't even know what I was doing. I was convulsing or something. And just feeling that attachment to my ex, and always feeling like, I always thought, oh, I was such a sexual person, but I didn't realize that I was also very sexual for him, and just wanting to please him, and just, you know, doing, you know, maybe going rougher than what I wanted to, because I didn't know how to voice it at the time. I didn't know what my needs were. And so that was, and you even said that when you touched that spot, you kind of started feeling sick, and you felt something kind of go over you or something.
Like the back of my heart, it just felt like something was moving.
Yeah,
really
so that was a very big one. And then the third one was when you touched my cervix, actually, and the energy shot up my spine, and then it only went halfway up my spine, but after a moment I just felt like I felt God. It was so beautiful, and I just like felt a tear just run down my cheek then, and it was just like, whoa, what was that? So yeah, so it's, for the next 2 days afterwards, well, after the yoni massage, I felt completely high. Which I'll insert some footage here, because food was so delicious to me. I was just like, I got the munchies, I had a burrito, and I bought all these cakes, and I was just like, oh my god, it tastes so good. I was just floating big time.
That is so beautiful.
And I was massively floating, because you mentioned that you get DMT in your brain, and all these beautiful hormones start to float in your body and all that kind of stuff. So I was there. I was definitely there.
The fullness of your feminine.
Yeah. Gorging herself on a burrito.
So beautiful.
Okay, switched hands, switched person.
Today.
I've noticed, I've been on a journey of noticing just how many stories the mind can make up. You know, the fear, the conditioning that we have of this isn't right or this is right, what's good or what's bad, you know, religious conditioning, and all this, you know, people telling you how we should live our lives kind of like starts to play in your mind. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, but internally you're kind of like, oh, it feels right for me to do this at this point in time. And when you show up, it's just, oh, it's not that bad. And that's actually something that I noticed being in the Tantric community. You experience so many different things, and in a different world, people might judge that and project their insecurities and project different things on it. But once you're in that space, once you're present, it's not that bad.
It's not bad at all. Like, there's all these like, it's just the mind making up all these like stories. And when you really, like, you totally need to honor your boundaries in every moment. Like, that's just part of being human, right? And learning about boundaries is about being engaged in places where your boundaries are being tested.
Yeah.
You know, so these are just learning environments. They don't actually have any good or bad label except for what we place on them because of what we believe and think and know about ourselves, our own ability to have boundaries, and our own, you know, relationship with ourselves and our comfort zones, and how we navigate the things that we're afraid of. And my experience is that these containers have been places where I can really go into inquiry with all that stuff for myself and really empower myself around how I want to be around my boundaries. And my intention was always, I want to have really good boundaries, because I never did have good boundaries.
Same.
Yeah, I had to learn the hard way, you know, and then I decided I don't want to learn the hard way anymore. I want to learn engaging in a really empowered process where I can, you know, there's people who have gone ahead of me and can tell me things about it, and I can then go away and have my own experiences knowing this wisdom and using this wisdom and executing greater and greater mastery over myself, and being able to really experience things that I've always wanted to experience but never had the courage to, because I couldn't trust my boundaries. And I think yoni mapping is a beautiful way to really have a space and permission to be in the full boundaries, be in full honoring of what I need and what you know that person needs, to really have a beautiful and deep experience of being both empowered and expanded. You know, going to the places that are scary, feeling really empowered, knowing that, oh yeah, there's a fear, there's an uncomfortability there, and I can hold space for that, and there's so much safety here, there's so much presence here, there's so much love here. So it's disproving a lot of our fears, our projected fears, and our previous experiences of being disempowered in our boundaries, and being able to give us a new experience of being deeply empowered in our sexuality and in our boundaries, and a person holding like full respect for us and welcoming of our truth.
Yeah, it actually made me realize how much time I need in order to really feel a decision in my body, because you gave me all the time that I needed to like really feel into what was happening in my body and what I wanted to say and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, for me, boundaries and making decisions isn't such an instantaneous thing.
For none of us, really. Like, we need to listen. There's
I need time. So that was a big lesson as well, which I just realized. What would you say is one of the biggest messages that you would like to share for women? Because you've had so much experience with women, massaging them, you know, massaging their yonis, experiencing them in their vulnerability, in their truest vulnerability.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So true, hey.
Yeah.
Well, actually, leading from that point, I want to say something else, but I actually feel like that is most alive for me, and it's that, you know, our vulnerability is so beautiful. It's so intoxicatingly beautiful, and it is so, like, it inspires so much love, you know, it inspires so much love, and I think that's what creates intimacy. Like, in my experience, going into our vulnerability and really speaking it and sharing it with another person honestly, and like allowing them to like witness us and receive us in our vulnerability is really where intimacy is created and where love is created. You know, you can't be loved inside the places that you so deeply yearn to be loved in, which is in those vulnerable places, if you don't share them. So share them, because it's you, and you're beautiful, and you're a divine being, you're a creator, and this energy that you have inside you, this eros, this sexual energy, is your creative energy. You create babies with it, and you bring souls from another planet onto this earth, and projects, you know, it's not just children. We don't just create children, we create projects, we create life. We're constantly painting the tapestry of our own life. And, you know, being connected to what gives us joy and pleasure is so important in life, to really living a life in our truest essence, in what's truly meant to unfold in our path. And it's a process of following our joy and our pleasure, I believe, from my experience. And our sexuality is just an expression of that.
Yeah, love that. And what would the number one thing that you would like men to know?
Look, same thing as women, you know, like, I think we all just, it's being connected to our divinity and being connected to our creatorhood, our power, our sovereignty, and to our pleasure in life and following what gives us pleasure, and our vulnerability. You know, like men, like we were talking about it today, weren't we? Like how their cock is, their penis is their heart. You know, it's completely connected to their heart, and we often disconnect from that in our society. We don't realize that actually, you know, maybe the cock is flaccid because the heart is feeling like it just needs to be held, or, you know, there's so many reasons. It's an expression of what's happening in the moment, and a communication that's happening between the heart and the cock. And it doesn't mean anything except that, you know, it's beautiful. You know, it means that there's something moving, and we can get curious about that, and rather than shame ourselves for having a flaccid cock, or shame another being for having a flaccid cock, as we might experience in our society around masculinity, it's really about being able to stay curious about like what's happening for that person, and really like enjoying the beauty of a flaccid cock. So I've had the most beautiful experiences when I've been in my full like openness inside of my yoni, and I've had my partner with me inside me, and then his heart is opened, and inside of his heart opening he actually connected his heart to his cock, and then his cock went soft.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was like, babe, what's happening? And he was like, I just feel really emotional. And I was like, oh. So all the energy went to his heart. You know, he had this big heart opening, and so the energy went away from his cock up into his heart, and we just sat in that and cried together. And it was like this beautiful like moment of like truly receiving this man for who he is, for his heart and his cock and the perfection, all of it, you know. Not being like, oh, why is your cock not hard anymore? Like, oh, it feels different. Of course it feels different. Like, feel it, you know? Like, what does that feel like? Yeah. You know, so the softness is beautiful.
So not having those expectations on ourselves of what sex and
or
sexuality, or what one person's meant to do, what the other person is meant to feel, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I would encourage men to explore their heart and the connection between their heart and their cock. You know, when you penetrate a woman, you're penetrating her with your intention. You're penetrating her with the energy and thoughts and beliefs that you hold about her, how you see her, you know. And that's, you know, why there can be different experiences, because I'm actually approaching this woman with so much love and devotion in my heart, and bringing myself fully in presence to her, in honor of her, and seeing her as a goddess. And so of course when somebody is loved like that, their being is going to fully express and come out. And we need to do that for ourselves. You know, we can't be expecting our partner, like waiting around for our partner to do that. We have to know that about ourselves and feel that about ourselves and share that with our partner, and our partner can do the same, you know. And so I encourage men to really connect with their heart, with their devotion, with their honoring of themselves and their partner, and penetrate women with their love, because that's what their cock is. It's pure love, and it's divinity, and it's light, and it has the power to heal women and to heal them. You know, so know the power of your penetration, know the power of your cock. That's my message to men.
Yes. On the subject of love as well, how would you explain love? Because love can be a charged word, especially in relationship.
So true.
Yeah, like I've experienced men who, as soon as you say the word love, they're just like, oh no, freak out. So what is love? Because I have my little definition, but I'd be so interested in hearing what you think.
To me, love is just presence. It's that space of like unconditionality. It's just the space of being unattached and completely in the moment, and experiencing the beauty of the moment, and that might be in grief, that might be in joy. But I think, you know, I am love. I think we are all love. I think that's what we are, and I don't think there isn't anything that isn't love. I think everything is love, you know. Even, you know, and this is so controversial, you know, it's like, how does this even work? But I think that's what universe is. It's like a series of paradoxes and polarities, and, you know, it's like, I guess everybody has to go on their own inquiry, but my inquiries led me to believe that everything is love, and we experience love with another being when we're deeply in presence, and we're just witnessing and celebrating the beauty of that being in all of their shades and colors. And it's you know, unattached. It doesn't have projections. It doesn't have, you know, beliefs about what that person is. It's just, you know, sure, you know, we're going to end up with beliefs, and we're going to end up with some projections, and it's returning to love is always about, you know, how can I actually be present in the moment to this being completely changing in front of my eyes in 1 second.
Yeah,
because they go through emotions, and they're not always going to be positive emotions.
Yeah, what's good, what's bad.
Yeah, what's good, what's bad.
Yeah, no, I'm the same thing. When now, after learning about relationships more through the sacred sexuality tantric kind of community, I always, you know, we're fed this story that love is you fall in and out of love. But what I've learned is that it's not a tap that you switch on and off. It's always there. We are love.
It's the current of life.
Exactly. It's just how we choose to express it, really. Yeah. So, yeah, love isn't this big controversial thing. It's the stories that we create around love that are, you know, the shit that we go through. Love is innocent. Love is always there.
Love is pure.
Love is pure.
It's just like love meets rage, grief, and joy and pleasure in the same way. It knows no difference. It's just like, oh, and now we have joy.
Yeah.
Wow, we have joy. Fantastic. And then we have grief. Oh, we have grief. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Wow, what is this beautiful grief? What is at the heart of this beautiful grief?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it.
Oh, that was awesome.
Thank you so much for your time and for agreeing to do this interview with me.
I love that I did it with you.
Thank you. And yeah, that's it.